What's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast episode. This time, we're going to talk about some NBA and a Game 7 in the NHL playoffs tonight. Now, over the past couple of days, we've seen some fantastic playoff series, whether it's NBA or it is hockey. And I want to start it off with the NBA. So, I want to say yesterday, there was a Game 7 between the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that game, fantastic. And Cleveland ended up pulling away and getting the win and going to the Eastern Conference Finals, for the first time since LeBron James has been a Cleveland Cavalier. And yeah, I think 2018 was the last time they went to that Eastern Conference Finals. So years ago, almost a decade. And so now we got the Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks in a Game of 7 series for the chance to go to the NBA Finals, which in my prediction, I actually think the Cavs are going to go. I think both teams are scary. But I really do think the Cavs are going to somehow upset New York and get the win and go back to the finals since 2018. And I feel like James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are probably going to win a ring. And I really do hope they do. Then there's another series of Game 7, this time in the Western Conference Finals with the San Antonio Spurs versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, which every fan saw this coming. I saw this coming, including myself. And I will say I want the Spurs to end up winning this Game 7 series. I don't care if it goes all the way to 7 games. I don't want Oklahoma back in the NBA Finals. I don't want to, I want to see a team that hasn't been there in a while, and the Spurs have not been there since Kawhi Leonard and Tim Duncan era. So that's back in the early 2000s, 2014 era too. And I do think, with Victor Wemby doing all those blocks and everything, I think it's going to be hard for the Thunder to kind of get some points. I think, yes, the 3-point shots are working for Oklahoma. Excuse me, but you also got to think about the free throws. You have a free throw merchant in SGA, and we know how hard he goes just to get to the free throw line. So I think the Spurs' best shot, let Oklahoma shoot a 3. Don't let them inside the paint. Let them shoot 3s, and if they can't make them, then, then San Antonio knows, okay, this is their game plan from here on out. And, Oklahoma will switch the game plan and make sure they could get around Wemby and all that. And I really, I really want to see in the NBA Finals the Spurs and the Cavs. I think that would be a kind of cool, back and forth little finals that we haven't seen in a while. I don't think we've ever seen it. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that it's never happened. Then, we got the news, SGA, I want to say yesterday or Saturday, he got announced as winning the MVP for the 2024 to 2025 to 2026 season. So he's a 2-time MVP. He's back-to-back for the first time since Steph Curry took the back-to-back anonymous MVPs. So congrats to SGA on making it to, being an MVP. I think he's going to have more MVPs to come. So I really do hope his career is good. I'm not a hater or anything. I really hope that his career is good. I don't care if he wins any more titles. He can win 5 titles. I don't care. He's a good player. It's just, he's making, OKC rebuilded around him, which it was perfect, and he brought them their first championship. So I really hope SGA can win more MVPs than, or not MVPs, but I hope, he could bring MVP home, the more championships, anything like that. In my honest opinion, the MVP should have went to Victor Wemby just because of what he did this entire season. If you didn't see what he did, check out his highlights. Pretty sure they're on YouTube somewheres. So congrats on SGA winning his second back-to-back MVP. Another announcement too from the NBA side is LeBron James. Now we know the Lakers got eliminated 2 weeks ago. Now that question once again is, will LeBron retire? Will he return for another year with the Lakers, or will he go to another team and retire? As a Warriors fan, I want LeBron to come to Golden State. There's been rumors all year long, even last year in the offseason, that he would come to Golden State, and this could be his last year. And I really believe, him, Curry, Draymond, Steve Kerr can all get a championship, and that would be kind of cool to get another championship and have LeBron, Curry retire at the same time. But will that happen? I don't think so. I want it to, but I don't think so. It's highly unlikely. I mean, here's this ladder, right? Here's highly unlikely, and this is likely. To me, would he return to the Lakers? Probably not. You see in all those years they had one championship his entire career as a Laker in 2020 inside the NBA bubble. He's missed playoffs. He's made them. Got eliminated. That's it. Why would he return to the Lakers? I don't know. Maybe he would, has a good response. I don't know. But I don't think he will. I think he'll either go to Cleveland and finish out his career there. He is from Cleveland. He won that city a title. So I believe that, he could end as a Cleveland Cavalier for his career, or he could go back to Miami, finish with the Heat, like Dwayne Wade did back in 2017-18, and go from there. Or he could go to a different team that he's never been on and just do something and then retire. I don't know. I mean, he has the most NBA points. He has the most, I want to say, field goals. I don't think he has the most free throws, though. I want to say he's in the top 5. But what else does he need to prove? He's done everything he has for 23 seasons, which is insane. But we know when June, July, August hits, that's when the rumors are going to pop up, and they're going to continue to say until he makes his decision, which should happen around like mid-July, beginning of August. So I really do hope, he does come to Golden State, because I am a fan. And it is, as a fan of Golden State, I really want him to come to Golden State. And then you got Giannis, Giannis could have came to any team in the trade deadline. Obviously, Milwaukee shut it down instantly. So I don't know what he'll do this upcoming offseason. I don't know if he'll just stay with Milwaukee until his contract is up, because I do believe he signed a 4-year deal. So I don't know if he'll just stay for 4 more years and then until his contract is up and then leave, or if he'll say, I want like a trade, and 5 teams will, because it'll probably take 5 or 6 teams really just to trade Giannis. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes for the offseason. I will be listening, and I will be tuning in to see what all reporters from ESPN, other sources say as well. And I really do hope this whole situation does get straightened around. Then stepping away from NBA, NHL tonight. Game 7 between the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres. Now, as a Sabres fan, I want Buffalo to win. Now, if anybody's watched this series between Montreal and the Sabres, they've been going back and forth. Everybody thought, including me, I thought it would go to 5 games and Buffalo would win in advance, but it's taken to game 7 tonight to see who advances to the next round to face the Carolina Hurricanes, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see who wins and who advances tonight. I really do hope that the Sabres do win. I really do. But we will have to wait and see how everything happens and what'll happen and how. But that's, I think as well, like the Sabres will go to the Stanley Cup and win it. That would be some history making there because Buffalo Sabres have never won the Stanley Cup. And I've been rooting for them since I was a kid. And I really do hope that they do win it and they can bring it to Buffalo. But that's NHL. Basketball on a different level, we've already talked about it. Multiple storylines heading into the final four, really the final couple of games here in the NBA season. And then after that, it'll be done. I want San Antonio versus Cleveland in the finals. I want the Spurs to win it. I am a firm believer that James Harden will win the NBA finals somehow. But I have no clue. He's been on 5 or 6 different teams. So he's been, and every time he goes there, those teams do not go to the finals. So it will be kind of crazy to see if he actually does end up going and winning it, the championship with Cleveland, and then he probably leaves, or will he sign a massive deal with Cleveland and stay for his entire career? Because he is getting up there in age, and he doesn't have that many years left, and it'll just suck if he doesn't win. So that's, it is going to be crazy. We know off season for NBA, for basketball is going to be crazy as well. The trades are going to happen. Like I said, Giannis is a story to watch out because he might get traded from Milwaukee to a different team. LeBron, even though he won't get traded because he is technically a free agent, he could go somewhere else. We'll see where anybody goes, really. So who knows what happened from here to now and what stories develop. So it'll be kind of interesting to kind of wait and see what happens and who will leave this city or this team to go to a different team and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, that's really all I have for right now. So remember, tune in to get some updates on the podcast and what happens inside the NBA, the NFL, and NHL world.